there on that stormy night with the armies?
I have been there on many stormy nights. Hello and welcome back to the Lamenters, Season 3. We left off at the precipice of a revelation. The group on their way to Yaghmour to deliver Lord Trevor's missive to the Council of Yaghmour, about 10 miles north of their destination, had come across an open prairie and saw a camp and decided to go over and investigate it. And they met a gentleman named Lino, who they talked with for a bit. And towards the end of that conversation, it seemed that Lino kind of had some insider information, and the group thought that perhaps he too had experienced what they had experienced. And upon Oldred's question as to whether he was there the night with the armies during the storms, Lino responded that he had been there on many stormy nights. So it is mid-afternoon and you are sitting around Lino's campfire, and he just dropped that little morsel on you guys.
What do you mean you've been there many times?
He says, I presume that something happened to all of you. Something with time.
And
Yes.
more than once.
You remember being in a certain sort of storm, a storm that was quite unusual.
Vaguely.
And
Yes.
yet you remember who you are.
Mhm.
And yet whenever you awoke, you were no longer where you were, and you were unsure of not only where you were, but when you were. He says,
This is all true.
Correct.
This has
Correct.
happened to me many times. It makes things quite difficult.
Man, so you got worse luck than us.
How do you even know that this happened to us as well?
Well, I have experienced it so many times that I have become accustomed to it. Imagine, if you will, that if you reached out to pet a wolf and the wolf bit you, you would learn a lesson from that. And perhaps in the future, you would be more cautious. I would say that it is similar for me. When my senses indicate to me that a storm of unusual properties is imminent, I have developed a series of techniques to protect my mind. It is difficult the more it happens, but it has enabled me to shield my mind from some of the strange, arcane effects of the storm, to retain more of my memories and to piece together what is missing from each leap.
How does a storm choose who to affect? You said you've been affected several times. I have only felt this one time.
What
says-
is Ivanova doing while we're doing this?
She's eating some of his breakfast stew that he made, and she
Okay,
doesn't seem to be paying much attention.
Okay, I might want to suggest and ask Lino if she can rest in his tent while we are talking. She's not part of this.
He says, I see. He says, yes, that is a good idea. He says, young lady, would you like to rest while we await? And she's like, okay, I guess. And she kind of goes into the tent, and he holds the flap open for her, and he's like, please make yourself comfortable. And she's like, thank you. And she kind of like lays down in there.
He
I'm
doesn't
so-
need to know this.
He walks back over and, sits down on one of the blankets around the fire. He tosses a couple other pieces of wood into the fire.
I'm sorry, sir, but does that mean that those, and maybe this is a stupid question, but does this mean that those storms are happening like more often than once, or is it the same storm that you're experiencing?
He says, what a profound question. He says, could it just be the same storm which moves to different places and times? Or is it a recurring storm that randomly manifests at different places and times?
Or is someone directing that manifestation?
Certainly some have attempted. He says that without hesitation.
It would seem perhaps that happened the night we were sent somewhere. Because we were going to a tower, if I recall. And I look at the others and like, there was a tower, right?
Yeah. I also remember a carriage.
We all seem to
Does-
remember a man. At least some of us remember a man with a specific ring with a design on it.
Well, I remember something different. I remember meeting a young man in a forest. And I don't know whether I was given anything. I know some of you guys were given scrolls, but I don't remember.
Hmm. Does anyone
Does-
recall what that man's design on his ring was? Was it was it the crescent moon one? Or was it the
Don't we
lightning bolt
have one of them?
The ring?
He says, when did this storm occur?
About 15 years ago?
He says 14 years ago, 1120.
I can't count too well.
He smiles. He says, the year is now 1134. The storm of which you speak was in 1120.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe
He
that was
says
when
that
our coins were
storm-
minted.
None of the storms are what I would call natural. But that storm was instigated.
That
One might even
concurs.
say it was an attempt to summon the aftermath of such storms.
But we also went sort of back in time for a while without any storm.
Yes, the chateau we encountered.
And Bivoj looks completely stupid.
It is possible. Are you saying that you experienced more than one leap?
We seem
Not
to have come.
necessarily.
Yes, kind of. We seem to have leapt forward in time 15 years, and then we encountered a chateau in the mountains, which seemed to have was further back in time, according to some
So it
coins
was
that we
not
had
you
found.
who leapt in time, but you went to a place that had leapt in time.
Like a bubble.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
make
when
sense.
we crossed into their domain within the walls, then we found ourselves in a different time. Looking out from outside the wall, it looked desolate, and as we went in, it suddenly was like new.
Or perhaps we didn't go back in time. We just went to a place that had come from back in time.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe the
that is
last
possible.
Yeah, I believe the last date was 892, and everything seemed to stop, and no one wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like we were stuck in one day.
He says, is it that they didn't want to talk about it, or is it that their minds could not comprehend?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, we did run into that one gardener, I believe, who had also gotten stuck in there.
Yeah.
What
He
does
was
this
just
have
making
to
the
do
best
with
of
the
it.
little man that knocked me out in the building where we sleep? The little Vincenzo character.
Vincenzo. Didn't he
says,
get away?
Vincenzo is not an uncommon name, especially in the South.
Well, this happened to me.
What is that?
My pinky finger that was eaten by the frog thing.
Oh,
During the storm, this happened?
No, it was in the chateau. We had to get out. We just had to. I mean, it was messing. Well, I just wanted to get out. So, I came up to this creature we met. We found some things, and I was wearing this cloak, and I show him the little frog clasp, and it engaged with me, and it bit my pinky off.
He
And
says, I'm sorry, that sounds most unfortunate.
it's well, you know, um, things like this happen, and these creatures showed us the way out, and we were so glad.
Maybe we seem like we're going in circles, but oh, we were shaken by that.
Yeah.
And I would say that all these time jumps or whatever that messed with us pretty well.
When you left this chateau, was it this timeline that you returned to?
Yeah.
We
He
believe
says, then
so.
it is most likely that the place where you went was continuously shifting, not in time, but location. He says, I have experienced a similar thing, not with whatever chateau you're speaking of, but I've experienced a similar thing. A place that was not stuck in time, but protected from the effects of time.
interesting.
Well, that kind of sounds like what we experienced because it seemed like it just stuck on one day.
Did you, in that place that you were talking about just now, did you happen to see any types of metal that were grayish and gave a greenish tint sometimes if they had been exposed to fire or heat?
Perhaps. Why do you ask? Do you have an interest in metallurgy?
I have an interest in that type of metal, because we've encountered things of that nature.
Oh, perhaps I could help you. Do you have
Yeah.
any of those things?
I'll take out the first disc.
Okay. He like leans forward and reaches forward. And do you hand it to him?
Yes.
All right. He holds it, and you notice he brings it really close to the campfire. And sure enough, the edges of the disc have that green kind of glow. And he looks at it and he says, this is very interesting. He says, where did you find this?
My friends found this one in a cave when they awoke.
Was it in
Nearby
the
where we
possession
appeared.
of someone in a cave, or was it just in a cave?
You need to ask them.
Was
I
there
think it was
anyone
lying
in
by
the
a
cave?
corpse.
A corpse.
I heard there was a skeleton,
Hmm.
and the skeleton was holding this.
Well, he hands it back to you and he says, that is interesting. It would have been much better if it weren't a skeleton. Then we could ask this person about where he acquired it.
Can you read any of the writing on there?
Perhaps
One of our
if
colleagues
given
was
time
trying to
study
decipher it. Oh, okay.
What was that? I couldn't hear you, Bill.
Perhaps if given time to study it, I could determine its purpose. I know what it is, though.
What is it?
It is... You notice he looks around at the group. How many of you have any sort of visible emblems showing your faith or national loyalty? So I know, for example, Claude has armor that bears the crest of Lee County, right? But how many of you guys have anything else like that would kind of reveal? All right, so Marie, what does Sarah have? Oh, she has the frog cloak.
Well, no, she also has her
her family
investment papers.
Okay, but
from
that's not,
Marjit.
I'm saying that you're wearing that he would be able to see.
Oh, okay.
He's not asking you this. I'm asking, what does your character have that he would visibly able to see? Anything denoting either your faith, your national loyalty, that kind of stuff.
I have the cloak, and I also have this silver necklace with a silver spider with 2 red gems for eyes.
Okay. Bane, any visible
I
things?
thought I had a chain with like the half moon thing on it that we found in the caverns, but it's not listed on my thing, so I don't think I have anything.
Okay. Bivoj?
No.
All right. Oldrad?
No, my thing is beneath my shirt, my clothing.
Okay. He says, before we proceed, I should likely, in light of when we are, I should make sure that we can have a mutual respect for each other. I mean no harm, nor any harmful intent to any of you. I would like to make that known.
I feel a but coming.
Oh, not so much a but an and. And I would like to believe that these lands are largely populated by people devoted to their belief in the one true God. But I have also seen that in these lands that those who do not subscribe to that belief are often singled out and punished, depending on where they are, especially between the Western Church and its loyalties now with the Western kingdoms and the formation of the empire. That strict adherence and the requirement to adhere only to a belief in the one true God has made anyone who does not do that endangered. Am I
mean like
making
my
myself
family?
clear?
You mean like my family?
I understand that totally. And I will say that for my part, my family, who is in the Eastern Kingdoms, went through the social rituals of the Eastern Church of the One True God. And we would, give alms and, fund their stuff However, we were social adherents, not really total believers.
Yes, yes. I'm not speaking of the level of piety that one
Oh, okay.
Possesses. I'm speaking more in terms of those who believe that there are other gods. Sometimes they refer to them as the old gods.
I
Those
don't know.
people are fewer and further between now because they are persecuted. So even if they are out there, they often hide their beliefs for fear of punishment, torture, death.
Why do you bring this up?
And my father always said that we shouldn't say that we like pray in the woods or something. We should say that we believe in the one true God.
Yes, for fear. I bring this up because I do believe in,
Ostracization, he said.
yes, I do believe in the one true God, but I also know that there are other gods. Many, many other gods.
Do you remember any of their names?
He smiles and he says, I remember all of their names. Why wouldn't I?
Bivoj
I've
looks impressed.
only been able to remember one name and trying to remember others.
Well, the people now would likely not remember any of their true names, maybe a few.
Well,
But he says the reason for it is that for 1100 years, these lands have been dominated by the belief that the one true God is the only God and the God that saved these lands. And in some respects, that is true, though most don't understand why it is true. But I know otherwise.
I've been trying to remember, but I feel like the storms had a dealing in my memory of my faith, which is the old gods.
To believe in the old gods does not necessarily require you to know all of their names. But I understand what you speak of. It has affected me as well in certain times. There was a time where I was experiencing a continuous shifting of my perspective. It was a difficult time. I felt trapped, repeating the same thing over and over. I was able to break free of that.
So you brought all that up before you told us what the disc is or made of.
Well, yes, I prefaced what I'm about to say by asking you to determine if you could be trusted with what I am willing to share with you. But know that what I am willing to share with you to anyone devoutly loyal to the church or especially to the empire would be considered heresy. And I'm not precisely interested in getting burned at the stake.
We side with no empire.
Well, that is good.
And I am open to all knowledge.
Well, then I will tell you what this disc does. It is a marker. It is a waypoint for those who understand space, spatial understanding. It is like a pin in a map. It marks a location. those who understand such magic can then use that as a marker and go to that place. Those with some understanding, but not mastery, can perceive that place. Masters can go to that place.
Interesting.
Now,
Are there other?
if
Sorry,
that
go ahead.
was, if those symbols were on paper, what would have happened to the paper, to the paper after 30 years? What would have happened to it after 30 days if it had been left outside in rain? What happens to paper that's left outside in the rain?
It dissolves.
It gets wet.
Yes. And what happens to rock or stone after years of weathering?
It erodes.
Yes. What happens to iron when it's left out in the
It
rain?
rusts.
Yes. And he points to the disc and he says, that does not weather. That does not erode. That is why markers and waypoints are made of that material.
Are there other tools associated with these markers?
Other uses of the markers, or do you mean
No.
other items made of that material?
Yes, other items made of that material that are used in connection with these discs.
As in, does it need to be a disc to be a marker, or can those markers be any shape?
The markers are always that shape.
Okay.
But there are, you notice he pauses and he kind of looks down at the fire and he says, there was a time when that material was used for wondrous things. Armor, weapons, tools, even buildings, structures. It is extremely rare now, especially here.
Do these materials come from this land?
They did. I don't know if they still do, but they did. There was a time when that was crafted, when that was mined, and the secrets of metallurgy for how to create the alloy that those objects are made from, gone long ago.
Does it have a name?
The material? I knew it as Gort.
I wonder if they were mining it out of that mine that Lee said that his family owned many years ago.
He says, I'm not sure where you speak of, but I would say that none of these small mountains would have this material. It was further north on the continent.
I pick up a stick and I draw a rough map. I draw the river, I draw Lee Castle, and I draw and I explain the path we took to the outpost.
Yeah.
And
he says,
do you mind?
yes, those are small mountains. Now, when he says that, you guys are like, the fuck they are. Like, you were
Yeah.
in those mountains and they were not
Yeah.
small, but he
They weren't.
clearly says, he refers to them as small mountains.
Interesting.
What do you mean by small?
He says, well, the mountains here are they're small. He says, compared to the north.
Interesting.
How
Well, we have
many?
2 of these markers.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
he
found
says,
another.
really? Let me see the other. Where did you find it? He seems like intrigued.
Pull it out. It was in the chateau that we spoke about. Underneath in the dungeons.
Really? The place
Really?
that you said that was trapped in time,
Yes.
and you found a marker there,
Yes.
but you have that marker. He says,
So-
where was it?
I said it was underneath the chateau in the dungeons. Like
Right, those catacombs.
So it wasn't simply the building itself that you were in, but the land around it and underneath it that was in this time bubble?
Indeed.
it would seem so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
And if we've taken the marker, does that mean that that one can't be used again?
Yes, absolutely it does, because it's no longer there. In neither that time or location. Very intriguing. I had
Now
not thought
I
that such a thing was possible, but I suppose.
now I am worried. If these markers can mark a place, and if certain masters can go to that place, do these discs make our group vulnerable?
Oh, you were asking me if
If we have target on our back.
We are target.
well, I'm not sure. In theory, possibly, because you are now in possession of these markers. So anyone that knows those markers could, in theory, watch you from afar or even come to you. But I don't know that that means you are in jeopardy. Do you have great enemies who are masters of arcane and forgotten magic?
Probably.
Not that
Not that I
we're
recall.
specifically aware of.
But we may have foiled their plans for having those markers in those places. So when they find out, they might be upset.
Well, but understand that you don't know who put those markers in those places. Correct.
Exactly.
We don't, but
And so it is
I-
not likely that for someone to use those markers, they would have to know the symbols on those exact markers. And usually those are only known by the people who made the markers.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mhm.
I
But-
myself have found a number of those markers, but they were always embedded in the ground in specific locations. So I copied down the symbols and memorized them so that I would know where they were.
They must have used it to return to their torture chamber.
Because
Who knows?
and I
that's what we found in that basement.
I will
Mm-hmm.
talk to the group more than to Lino. But when we encountered Karamina and the other dude, they were after the stick, the candlestick, not after the markers. They had no idea we have those. You know what I
Correct.
mean, guys?
Yes.
So right now we're seem to be in clear.
I don't think so, because the other and I think I already told you guys, I found this other candlestick that the old man was hiding.
In the
It
barn.
seemed like he was trying to hide it in the barn when his farm was attacked. I don't know if they were looking for it, but he was hiding it from them, at least from the Odor.
A candlestick?
And yeah,
And-
and I
Yeah, we
And
know
go ahead.
of two.
Go ahead.
A candlestick made of gort?
The
Gort.
Gort.
Yeah,
Yes.
two of them actually.
Well, we only have one of them.
But we know where the second is.
But you don't know what it's used for.
No,
We
but
have
it has
Holding
ideas.
candles?
it has some strange symbols on the bottom of it, and I show them.
He literally sinks his head. He says, these symbols, the 4 lightning bolts, have you ever seen these symbols elsewhere? Perhaps with other symbols or letters?
Yeah.
Would one of them
Someone,
happen to have looked like either a C or a crescent moon?
Crescent moon.
the crescent moon we've seen
Lightning
before.
bolts.
Many
A
times.
crescent surrounded by 4 lightning bolts aiming inwardly.
We've
Yeah.
seen this on the rings too.
Yes. And have you seen any other similar symbols, but perhaps with different letters?
Not that I can recall. Does anyone else have notes about that?
I know that Leonard here was trying to decipher some of the words.
I'm going to let you guys do an intelligence roll. 2 of you. 2 of you. Not everybody. Specifically, Sarah and
Not
Oldrad.
me. Oh, okay then.
Sarah and
Shit.
Oldrad are going to make intelligence rolls.
And this is a 20-sider?
It's a 20-sider, and you're going to subtract or add your intelligence modifier.
Well, I'll subtract from me. It's not the worst.
Sarah,
roll
you
I've
have a
ever had.
+1, and Oldrad has a -1.
That's a 14 for me. 15 on the die.
Dirty 20.
Nice. Very nice.
A 14's not
It's not the
shabby.
worst.
The dirty
It's not the
20 is
worst.
definitely enough. So I'm going to tell both of you that you did see a symbol. You saw a ring,
Yes.
and it had 4 lightning bolts aiming at the center, and in the middle of that was the letter N.
N. I
Do you
don't
remember who
recall
was
that.
wearing that ring?
Was it Vincenzo or
No,
the
it was-
guy in the memory?
It was Karamina Nicolo.
Yes.
Carmina,
That's
the
the
one that we
sigil of her
captured.
house.
Nicolo.
House Nicolo's sigil is that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
the girl we
you
captured.
guys know that. Lino's
Okay.
looking at you expectantly.
Go ahead, Sarah.
That was on the hand of Caramina Nicolo from the house Nicolo. And I was wondering if that N stood for Nicolo, House Nicolo. But why she had it, I don't know. She's some kind of noble higher than my family. Into trades.
Those candles can be used in arcane rituals, very specifically for summoning. The waypoints and markers are related to spatial magic. Spatial magic that involves perceiving or even moving through space.
Mhm.
The candles made of gort can be used for summoning, which is also spatial magic, but of a different nature.
Is it similar
What?
as the tracking in the woods?
Yes, sort of.
Because
Can
that
you
I
su-
understand.
Can you summon with one candle? Do you need multiple candlesticks
No.
together?
You need multiple candles and more.
What do they summon?
Depends on what the ritual is intended to do. The more powerful the ritual, the more candles you need.
So you need
but-
combinations of candles, stick holders to do different rituals.
At the minimum, you need 3 for a small summoning.
Hmm.
Okay, and would that summoning be like you calling me and I just poof go there, or are we summoning gods or
Yes. With 3 candles, it would not be significant. With 5, 7, or 9 candles, 5 or 7 candles would be moderate summoning. Either
How
something significant and larger slightly larger than a man, or over a greater distance. With 9, 11, or 13 candles, that is a significant summoning.
So is that candlestick holders or just like the number of candles on these holders that you can use?
Each candlestick holds 1 candle.
Okay. Wasn't sure if it
The
was multiple
candlestick
ones.
is a conduit for the magic.
And can these be fabricated, or are they one of a kind?
They were fabricated. They were all made.
What I mean is, can they make more?
No. Well, you mean people now? Here
Yes.
in these lands?
In these times?
No.
But if they travel back far enough?
There's no one who knows the crafting of Gort in these lands. I don't even know the crafting of Gort.
A marker, unless they use a marker to go to the time when these were made.
Is it possible to use a marker for temporal purposes versus spatial? Perhaps, with the right knowledge, with the right understanding.
I know enough to know I know nothing of what we deal with.
Oldrad?
Can this cause the storms?
Yes, Sarah.
Somebody tried to use those markers for temporal navigation instead of spatial?
When Bivoj says this, he says, please don't take this the wrong way, but for such a simple soul, you sometimes have profound understandings. I'm impressed.
And my father said that I'm simple, maybe sometimes too simple, that the hard questions just appear by themselves.
I want to say that I do not know for sure what the intent was. But I can tell you that the storm 14 years ago that you were caught up in was instigated by someone who had the knowledge and power for such an immense thing. It is possible that it was intended to power such a summoning of not just spatial, but temporal natures. I don't know. I was not in that storm with you.
So that would mean they have a lot of candlesticks.
That would mean that they had a lot of candlesticks, possibly.
And now they don't, so they need more?
Depends what they were doing.
Oldrad, I think you should show it to him.
Well, yeah, I was going to get to that, but I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Okay.
Well, we have one last item made of this Gort. And
he says, the sword on your back?
Yeah. What,
allow me to guess. That was something you also acquired from this chateau.
A very accurate guess.
It could not have been found anywhere else. Those weapons and armor, those weapons and armor were not here. They were not in these lands. The last vestiges of that knowledge was in Nargenheim, which fell centuries ago.
We've heard of that place.
He says, that's actually where I'm heading.
Where's Nargenheim?
North.
And when did you last experience one of those storms? Before or after our storm?
Allow me to look at the epic timeline. He says, well, remember what I told you, that sometimes it is difficult to grasp the fullness of time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask things like when do I remember the last time I experienced a storm, that is a slightly complicated question, because my experience with storms I have leapt forward and I have leapt backward in both time and location.
Right. Well, do you remember any storms between 1120 and 1134 now?
No, there have not been any storms in the last. Before 1120, there had not been a storm since probably sometime in the 800s.
Okay.
Okay. So that makes you originally from the 800s as well?
Wait a minute. So how old are you?
Well, from when?
From when are you?
So to give you guys some idea, Lino looks like he's about 25 years old.
That's why I ask. Like,
yeah.
You seem to have seen a lot of stuff.
Say from when?
He says, well,
that's a tough question
I would
to answer.
think that this year I might be around 2,100 years old.
What?
Okay.
How is this possible?
He says, well, I discovered something in moving to different places, that when I first left my home, once I passed through the portal, I stopped aging. Don't get me wrong, I can be killed. I feel pain. I'm not a god. I'm not something.
You are a man, then.
I am a man.
Why do you hesitate, stranger?
Insight check.
Go ahead. You can make wisdom rolls if you want.
There's no way I'm passing. I'll try.
5 check.
Ooh, 17.
All right.
Yeah,
That's with the negative one.
Yeep.
Yeah.
So, is he lying? No. Is he omitting truth? Yes. He says, it is difficult to explain. He says, imagine discovering that you are something different from what you thought you were growing up. He says, I grew up quite poor. I did not have a father. He was not in the scene. My mother struggled, and by the time I was maybe 12 years old, I was living off the streets on my own.
How old were you when you went through the portal for the first time?
Oh, 25.
And what year was it?
He says, that's kind of difficult to explain.
Boy.
Your timeline is different from where I came from.
So you're not from this world?
Well, I am from this world. I'm just from a different place in this world and a different time in this world.
All of this time and worlds and everything is confusing me.
Settle down, my big friend. Pat him on the shoulder.
I can tell you that I am from more than 800 years before these lands were established.
Okay.
When I came to this continent would have been about 2,000 years ago.
Wait, what's a continent?
The whole of this land. What
you highborn, you would know that, wouldn't you?
He says,
I'm not sure.
What you know as the lands of Doreguteon, there's more to this island. To the north, you know, are mountains. You know this.
Yeah.
And you know that those mountains extend very far. They are treacherous, icy. No one goes further north than the mountains for good reason. But there is a lot more land to the north. And I've been there in different times.
I see.
The place that I am from came from this continent
In a different time.
in a very different time.
And you said you're going to Norgenheim?
Yes.
So you know where it is?
I think so. I wish I had a waypoint there, but I don't think there are any left.
Wait. You wish you had a waypoint. So you can use these discs at will?
Sometimes.
Can you encompass all of us while you use it?
Not here. The faith of the one true God is so powerful that it overwhelms one's ability to channel the old gods.
I feel like I've noticed that effect.
He looked, well, are you saying that? Or is Kail saying that? Or is Oldrad saying that?
No, Oldrad's saying that.
So he looks at you and he says, oh, you have.
I too have lost contact with my god of war.
Zishuf?
Yes, that is his name.
How do you spell that? I have my phone out.
Xeshuf.
Huf. God of
He
War.
says, Zishuf is not here, friend. Perhaps he could hear you distantly, but the old gods are far, far from these lands. The one true God's potency here is overwhelmingly strong. It is why most people who still have any belief in the old gods, their prayers are not answered because the old gods can't hear them here.
The only old god I've been able to beseech is Peshwick.
He smiles and he says, well, that's because he likes her.
The
Who?
one true god likes Peshwick.
Yes. They're siblings.
What
What does a war in the heavens have to do with us?
So much more than you likely realize, Bane.
So if we go with you more to the north, it is possible to get there.
It is possible. Once we've made it a certain distance to the north, it is my hope that we will be far enough away from these lands that I might once be able to assume the full level of my understanding.
Could you
Well,
go ahead?
well, guys, we've got a mission to accomplish, and I've got some personal business I'd like to pursue in the south and perhaps in the eastern kingdoms. And this is all well and good, but we've got the borderlands to save right now.
How could we possibly turn away the opportunity to learn from someone that's been on this world for 2,000 years?
I know, but
And can we really stop the war?
Or can we take him with us? I could hold
would
him on my
bring you-
horse.
What would bring you to the Eastern Kingdoms? Is that where you come from?
yes, I've
There
been
is
told
safety
that-
in the Eastern Kingdoms. At least it
I
is
know.
safer than here and certainly than the Western Kingdoms. If you
I know
seek to
there
avoid
is.
the Empire, the Eastern Kingdoms are the best way to go.
I know these things, but I've heard some things about some tragedy in my family, and I've been holding back my anxiety about this from my group. And I want to see if that's true. And I've also heard of a fellow by the name of Brother Janusz, who is taking people to safety in the Eastern Kingdoms. And I had hoped to meet up with him, and when we're done, continue to help him. I don't know what to do right now.
Roll a time for an intelligence roll.
Okay, time for intelligence roll. Oh, okay. Well, we'll deal with that. That is a
Add or
4.
subtract your modifier.
Yeah, yeah, total of 4.
As you are saying this, you have a flashback.
Mm.
It's a flashback to the conversation that you'd been having with Karamina Nicolo. And there was something that she alluded to related to the Marjit Trading Company. And for some reason, that brief flash comes into your mind as you're explaining this to Lino. Lino says, well, you speak of saving the borderlands. What does that mean? He says, surely you don't believe that the 6, and then he looks in the tent, 7 of you are going to stop the Empire. That's not a reasonable expectation.
That's not our mission.
We have a message to deliver to Yaghmour with a proposal. I don't want to talk about it.
And upon the completion of this courier task, what were you going to do? And he's not just talking to Sarah at this, he's looking at all of you.
Yeah.
If you
We haven't
traveled
really thought about
far and wide here, haven't you seen any connection between the Ordur, I mean the big ones, and the Empire?
No.
Because I have strong suspicion they may be connected via some higher power, I would say. For me, it seems like a wolf hunt.
He says, well, I'm not sure. When you say a higher power and you speak of the big Ordur, he says, yes, there is a connection. That does not happen naturally. He says, Ordur do not become hulks naturally. That is something that indicates arcane or divine intercession.
Because they are too big.
He says, but a connection between those and the Empire, I have not seen that.
As it seems to me that the Empire seems to be like a bunch of, I would say, maybe zealots?
Yes, they are.
And if you're speaking about divine intervention, those Ordur have some good armor and weapons, so I think it may be possible that the Empire just uses those to instigate unrest here, so they can trample through the borderlands. I think our best chance is to... I know this is sacrilege, but for us the best chance is to fight gods with gods. God power with God power, and we can find that maybe in Norgenheim.
Guys, I just had a thought. I remember something that Karamina Nicolo told me. She said that I am the last of the Marjits. And also, remember when Leonard got sick?
Yes.
And you found that necklace with those seeds on it, Claude? The apothecary called that Gort Nargenheim, and that was north of the Eastern Kingdoms. That area where that plant is found.
He says Nargenheim isn't going anywhere. There's
Yeah,
no
I know.
hurry. There is no hurry for me to get there.
Yeah.
If you believe that it would help, I would join you for a time. The Eastern Kingdoms are certainly more safe if you wish to avoid the Ordur horde and the Empire. That conflict has become inevitable.
Well, I believe we should deliver our message first and see how Angnar is doing, and then decide.
He says, well, I just passed through Anger. So I suppose I could pack up and we can go back.
Was
Something
everything
that-
all right there?
It seemed okay. I mean, they were clearly concerned about word from travelers that the Empire was arriving. So perhaps we should make way. Or if you'd like, you can head out ahead of me and deal with your business, and I will come along shortly.
Can you take
Oh.
Ivanova with you?
Why? Well, he's coming with us. That's what it seems like, Sarah.
Yeah, but he has to pack up.
Well, you guys, okay. I'm gonna wait with him because I want to talk to him some more. If you guys want to go ahead, go for it.
We should
something
deliver
I
the
have-
message, wait for the others, and then head east.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
something that just occurred to me, talking about the storms and the summoning. The storms are part of the summoning ritual, perhaps? And if we were summoned, why would anyone summon us 14 years into the future and not have something there to inform us of the purpose?
I've never been sent anywhere if it wasn't to cut men down on the battlefield.
I remember something else Karamina said. She said, by our very presence there, and I don't know whether she meant our army or us personally, it interrupted something that she may have been involved with. So, and she was about to tell me why we were here, but I was so angry with her that I didn't want to listen to her lies anymore. So I do want to get to Anger. I want to talk to her.
Okay. So Lino, kind of picks up stands up, rinses out, the food in the bowls, kind of stacks, you see him kind of lift up the tarp on his wagon and toss stuff in there. He opens up the flaps to the tent and he's like, awaken, child. It's time to go now. And you see Ivana kind of stir and she looks up. She looks very rested. She kind of crawls out of the tent. He starts pulling the stakes and shaking it out.
I assist him.
Yeah. So, doesn't take more than 5 minutes for him to bug out. He seems very competent to the task. Go ahead and make a wisdom roll, Kail, as you're assisting him.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, as you're helping him, right? He pulls this tarp back that's over his wagon. You see, he has, some wooden boxes with, foodstuffs. He has a few jugs of water. You see, like a kind of a larger sized jug for oil. He has some dry firewood and kindling. He has a shovel. He has a scythe, you know, a couple farm implements, rope, you know, kind of generally a lot of stuff that you know
Hmm.
you would need, and a small chest, which he doesn't open up, but he has a small chest kind of in the back of
Yeah.
the wagon.
As I'm helping him, I wanted to ask him, what other names of the old gods could you tell me? Because I've been trying very hard to
Okay,
remember them.
so on the road, like, are you basically riding next to him while he's driving the wagon?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
to talk to
you
him.
guys are basically leaving this encampment, right? And you're heading
Well,
what?
I was wondering if we could split the party into faster riders and
Oh
slower
yeah,
riders.
yes,
Oh,
sure.
And
sounds great.
I want Ivanova to stay with him.
Okay, so Ivana can ride on the wagon with Lino. And Oldrad could ride alongside. Are the rest of you then riding faster into town to deliver the message? Okay.
Me,
I'm
So
not.
here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deal with that part first. Okay. So you guys have 10 miles of ground to cover. In that 10 miles, as you're riding pretty fast, you do not see any other people on the road. You don't see anybody on the river. And normally, this close to Yaghmour, you would see fishing boats, you'd see barges, all that kind of stuff. So you arrive at the northern gate of Yaghmour, and you see the gates are closed. You see there are guards at the ramparts inside the gate walls. All of them have longbows. So you guys are riding up pretty quickly, and you notice that they draw the bows and they're holding them as you're approaching. What do you do?
I'll pull out the scroll and I'll say, I am here with a message from Lee Castle to the mayor of Yaghmour. And I hold the case
Okay.
up.
Make a charisma roll.
Okay, what do we got? We got 13.
One of the guards shouts down, approach the gate slowly. When we let you in, you will be disarmed, and then you may go about your business.
Fair. And I hold the scroll and approach
Okay.
slowly. I don't
So
know who else is with me.
all of you guys except for Kail.
Oh, okay.
So all of you ride forward slowly. You hear the large timber being lifted, and you hear the gates creak. The gates creak open, and you see there are 10 guards, some with bows, some with spears, some with swords, all weapons drawn. As long as you guys come in and enter slowly, they will tell you that you have to check your weapons. Much like at the south gate of Yaghmour, you see a small wooden building. They gesture to that building. They escort you to that building. Each one of you are given a wooden chip with a number on it, and that corresponds to the locker, the storage locker where your stuff is stowed.
Yeah.
Upon surrendering your weapons and getting your wooden chip, one of the militia guys looks at you and says, what is this business that you said about Lee Castle?
It is a message from Lord Trevor of Lee Castle for the mayor and the council.
Very well. You may proceed. Mayor Durst is in his office, and he gestures. They close the gate. Your horses are tethered at a post near that building where you checked your weapons. So you guys begin walking, and in short order, you arrive at the office of the mayor. the entire time that you're walking through Yaghmour, it is almost vacant. Like every building, doors closed, shutters closed, nobody's out on the street. It's kind of eerie. You arrive at the office, the door is closed and locked. You knock on the door, presumably.
Yeah.
And a few moments later, you hear a lock and the door opens up a little bit. And one of the secretaries of the office, a young looking man, looks out at you and he says, "Yes, what business do you have?"
I have a message here from Lord Trevor of Lee Castle, and I am to deliver this to Mayor Durst.
And he looks at you guys and he says, "All right, come in at once." He opens the door. You guys go into the office. Again, no citizens are in the office. There aren't even like the normal clerks that are at the different desks who handle kind of the administrative stuff, the paperwork. Nobody's at their desk. Like this secretary is the only employee. He leads you down the hall and knocks on the door and he says, "Mayor, there's word from Lee Castle." And the mayor says, "Well, send them in." He opens the door. You guys enter. You see Mayor Durst. He looks like he hasn't slept in 3 days. His hair's all disheveled, like his normal, well groomed, well dressed. Like looks like he's been sleeping here, like in his clothes. And he looks at you guys and he says, "Oh, you've returned. What news from Lord Lee?"
And I hand him the case.
Okay, he takes the case, he cracks the wax seal, he opens it up, pulls out the scroll, examines the wax seal on the scroll, cuts it, opens it up. He's reading it. And he says, "Mike, it's worse than we thought." And he says, and did you yourselves witness this horde?
Yes.
Is it as he says? Thousands?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
We were there. We scouted the area for him.
Is their
We saw the
arrival imminent? Is it imminent? How soon? How long?
We don't know.
Maybe days.
And it is Lord Trevor's will that we surrender our sovereignty to the Empire.
Lord Trevor's
He says,
and
I
his
cannot
council.
make this decision alone. I will need to convene the council. And he yells out to the hallway and he's like, "Send word to the rest of the council. Summon them here at once. There's urgent matters."
Exactly. And he didn't make this decision lightly. He knew that he didn't have enough men to meet the horde, and he thought that the only way he could save his lands was to have a larger army help him. And that is the army of the Empire. So
he seems very somber as you explain this, and he says, "Oh,
he
it is
didn't want to make this
decision. It is, to be sure, a difficult decision."
He didn't want to make this decision. I assure you.
He says, "Well, we will meet in the council chambers. If you are in need of respite or food or drink, just we will accommodate you. You can go to the inn.
Right.
We will compensate you, but I must prepare for the meeting." He says,
"One more thing."
"Yes."
"One more very important thing. The Empire is moving up the river as we speak."
He says, "Yes, unfortunately, that is something I heard of.
Okay.
Just last night, a small group of refugees, travelers from Oak Point, had made their way here, and they spoke of seeing Imperial forces on the road as well as on the river, moving north. But now I will have to convene the council and then inform what militia we have left, that we will open the gates to the Empire." He says, "Thank you for this news, difficult though it may be." He says,
"I want to do one more thing."
"Okay."
I want to clasp one of his hands in mine and say, everything will work out.
He says,
You
yes,
just, you just have to ask us. Just ask us anything.
yes, I will. Thank you. And he kind of takes a deep breath and sort of resigns himself. As you guys are leaving the building, you heard his secretary like run out to go summon the other members of the council. As you are leaving the building, Claude, you see your old friend Captain Elwig, who himself looks like he hasn't slept in 4 days. And you notice that there's blood on his armor, just like dried blood, not recent. And you see him walking with 4 militiamen, none of whom look like they've slept. And he's like walking towards the south gate. He doesn't see you. Like he's kind of, across the street and down the block a little bit.
Yo, Elwig, hang up, and I just run after him.
He turns and kind of looks confused, and then he sees you and he says, Claude, you've returned.
Man, what's happened to you? You look awful.
Every night has been terrible. Terrible. Attacks and raids from low people from all around, from the west to near the road, from the south, from the west. He says
we came by a lot of burnt and ransacked farmhouses on the way down from Lee. You've been fighting those?
It seems to be everywhere. They've never been this bold.
Well, there's a big encampment up in the mountains where they might be coming from. That's why we were here to bring news from Lee Castle about that.
He says, "Is Lord Lee calling for his reinforcements? If he takes our militia, we'll have nothing to defend ourselves."
Well, I believe the mayor will have news for the town soon. Just keep it under wraps for now.
Very well. Well, good to see you. Stay safe, my friend, and may the one true God protect us. And he kind of turns and urgently walks with the other 4 guys towards the south gate.
Be well, my friend. And I turn back to my group.
I'll run ahead and get us some rooms at the inn. What will we need? 4 rooms? 2. Yeah, 4 rooms.
Okay. So you are doing that. Smash cut back to the slower paced travel. Oldrad, as you are riding alongside Lino, with young Ivana in the back of the wagon sitting on a crate. He says, so your friend Bane believes that he served Zishuf, but he seems to not be able to remember things. Is that your feeling as well? Do you feel as if you once perhaps venerated the old gods?
Yeah, it seems to be a common trait among my group of companions that our memory is lapsing in many areas. And yes, I've been trying my hardest to remember the names of the gods that I venerated before this temporal leap of whatever.
Since there's no one else nearby, I suppose it wouldn't be too dangerous to speak of such things out loud. He says, you understand that the one true God, though, is real.
Yes. One of our other companions who stayed behind at Lee Castle is a priest of the one true God.
He nods.
And I've seen his miracles through him.
Yes. He says, there were and have been and perhaps still are many gods. But here in these lands, forged by the faith of the one true God, those gods are distant. Whether they still exist, I do not know, but at one time there have been. And perhaps they will be again.
Can gods truly be vanquished, or just can they die?
He says, I believe they can. In a manner of speaking, a god's power is derived from, in part, their worshippers. If there are none who worship them anymore, they become forgotten. And in becoming forgotten, they can, in a manner of our simple minds, our understanding, a forgotten god is effectively dead. He says it may be that case with many gods. Their names, their who they were or who venerated them can also change. He says, you spoke of Peshwick. You know that Peshwick is an earth goddess.
Yes.
She is, I suppose you could say that she is like a younger sister to the one true God.
Are these gods all siblings, related?
Not all of them. Her husband was Yasik Hogue. He is the god of wind. The dancing god. He dances across the skies. And he is, like Peshwick, one of the first gods. But like the wind, he can also be a storm.
Okay. Is there an old god of secrets and wisdom?
Yes.
I tried to beseech him the other day, but I could not, for the life of me, reach out to him.
He says that god was last known in Nargenheim. His name is Savak Boku. Savakboku.
I haven't heard that name either.
He is also one of the first gods. He sometimes was thought to be perhaps a brother to Peshwick or perhaps an uncle. And there is another deity who also is known to be related to secrets. But she is trickerous. Osila, the masked queen. She is certainly related to the keeping of secrets, but also known to be related to war, death, and trickery.
How do you spell her name?
Oseela.
Sila.
He says, there was a powerful necromancer who harnessed Oseela's power and did many things.
Not good things, I suspect.
No. Then, of course, the god who your friend Bane believes that he serves, Zishuf, he is the god of war, chaos, and death. He is the heat of the battle. He is the rage and frenzy amidst the chaos of war.
Definitely goes with Bane. What gods did you venerate from your hometown?
He says, where I am from, we knew only 5 gods, and they were not the gods of this place. I don't know if or how they would have been connected to the gods of this place or the one true God. I only know that each one of them held an important role to the place that I was from. And without them, the place where I was from would not exist.
Each god typically has some sort of role to play.
But these were more so in function as well, because without their power and without all of them working in conjunction, the place where I came from would not exist, could not exist. I didn't know that until after I came here.
So you left your homeland.
Yes.
What was the name of your homeland?
I came from a place known as New Wolf Otmai. Our gods were elemental gods. Ayuk, the god of earth. Vuseik, the goddess of water. Deepa, the god of fire. Them, the goddess of earth, or the goddess of air. And there was another, one who was part of their pantheon and yet separate from it.
Was he elevated from them?
He was tied to them. But unlike the other 4, he was the absence of an element. He was the void. He was Taik.
So you had Ayuk, Deepa, Vim, and Taik. What was the other one, Bill?
Ayuk,
There's
Vuseik,
Vuseik.
Deepa, Vem, Taik. It was Taik who made possible the portal through which I was able to leave New Ofotmai and come here. But I have not been able to find my way home.
You've been trying to find your way home since then?
For the better part of 2,000 years, yes. Had I known it would be a one-way journey, perhaps I would not have gone through the portal. It was not curiosity that drove me. I was trying to find a very bad person and stop them from doing a very bad thing. And in their possession, they had two things with which they could do very bad things.
What were those things?
One was the egg of a dragon, an egg which could be hatched with the right understanding, an egg which could give birth to a dragon of colossal proportions. The female which laid this egg was known in my land and wielded power like a god, invincible. Her name was Zamai.
Zumai.
Zamai.
Zamai.
ZMAJ. Zamai was so old that she existed here before my homeland was made. At this point now, I believe she would be close to 6,000 or 8,000 years old, if she still lives. I see no reason why she wouldn't live, because there is none on the continent of New Wolf Otmai who could possibly kill her. But even when I was there, she slept more than she was awake.
Probably for the better, it seems. What was the other item that this person had?
It was a physical manifestation of the void.
Physical. So like a disc or something?
A thing which was not man-made. A thing which was made by the gods. They were known by many names. Sometimes they were called elemental crystals. Sometimes they were called tears. This specific kind, though, was different. Its form was different. Unlike the earth and fire and air and water crystals, which appeared more crystalline in nature, these were more like an orb, a perfect circle, a perfect sphere. And they were black, black like the void.
So you had a dragon egg and one of these godstones.
He had the dragon egg and a black orb.
What was he trying to do with these things?
I have chased him for centuries. I still am not sure what he is trying to do, but I feel as if he too is trying to go home, but not to New Wolf Otmai, to somewhere else, somewhere that is his home.
What was his name? Or her name?
I don't know his true name, but I know what he was known by. He referred to himself as Lord Finoop. And that is where we'll end this episode of The Lamenters. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, for liking and subscribing, and for sharing our content. We hope that you'll tune in for the next episode. Thanks, as always, to my patrons on Patreon for your support, and we will see you next time, everybody. Peace out.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.